Hello, my name is Mr. Polk and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'd like to show you how to make sand tart cookies. And these are a great cookie. They're very thin, they're crispy, and they have just a little bit of cinnamon and sugar on top. So to start, what we're going to do is we're going to take the bowl for our KitchenAid mixer. We're going to start by putting in our 6 ounces of unsalted butter. And we want this to be softened, so this sat out for a little bit so it's nice and soft. And then we're going to add 1 cup of our white granulated sugar and about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. And then now that's going to go ahead and go in the KitchenAid mixer. So now that all your ingredients are in the mixer, you're going to gradually work your way up to 4. So you start at stir, work your way up to 2. We really want to cream the butter together with the sugar. So we work our way up to 2, 3, and then by the time we get to 4, we should have all of the sugar combined with the butter. And once you're at 4, that's where you want to be careful. So we're going to watch our clock. We want to run this for anywhere between 30 to 45 seconds, depending on how it looks. We don't want to incorporate too much air into this, but we don't want to under-incorporate it at the same time. So once you've hit your 30 to 45 seconds, then you can go ahead and turn it off. And then once you're off, now what you want to do is give it a little bit of a scrape. Make sure you take your spatula, get underneath the bowl, make sure you get everything off of the beater. And then we can bring this back up. And we're going to add our vanilla, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And then we're also going to add 1 whole egg. Now we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to start it on stir. Work our way up a little bit. Get it to 3, and then finally get it to 4. Once we feel that it's incorporated, then we're able to go ahead and let it run for another 30 to 45 seconds. Once we feel that it's ready and it's at the 30 to 45 second mark, we can go ahead and turn it off. And then we want to make sure we give it one last scrape before we put in our flour. So we scrape the sides down, scrape the flat beater off. Everything looks great. And now what we're going to do is bring the bowl back up. And this is where we got to be careful that we don't overdevelop the gluten. So we're going to put it on stir. And then we're going to go ahead and add our flour about 1/3 at a time and mix it just until it's mixed and then stop. Note, I have a metal bowl. We can add while it's running, but we always want to have a metal or a plastic bowl. So I'm going to put in about 1/3 of the flour. I'm going to let that go around till it looks like it's starting to incorporate. And we'll add the next 1/3. And you don't have to measure, it's just a guesstimate there, because you're putting all of the flour in, so it's not going to interfere with the recipe. And then as it goes around, you can see that it's starting to work the flour in, and it's starting to look like a batter, more like a cookie dough. And then the last thing we do is put in our last 1/3 of the flour. And then we're just going to bring it around. We don't want to overmix. As soon as you hear the mixer start to whine a little bit and it starts to hold together as dough, you want to go ahead and shut it down and then just give it one last scrape, and then we'll take a look at how we're going to mold and shape the cookie. So now that we have our dough mixed, we're ready to form it. The sand tart cookie, it's called an icebox cookie because we're going to shape it and let it firm up in the refrigerator and then slice it. So what we're going to do is we have our dough here, and I like to take it out of the bowl. All right, and then before I put it on the saran wrap, I like to, with gloved hands, I like to just sort of make it into roughly a log type shape and then lay that on the saran wrap. Okay? Because we're going to make it into a cylindrical log shape. Once you have it set up like that, then carefully take your saran wrap over and then roll it up nice and tight. And what we're looking for is to get this into about a diameter of 2 inches. So you can take your ruler and you can see you're close to 2 inches. It doesn't have to be exact. And then I twist up the ends, kind of like you were making a sausage. Twist up the ends and then take your hands and gently roll it to make it nice and cylindrical. And then what I like to do is before I just put it in the fridge like this, I like to take a piece of parchment paper, or even if you had something that was a little firmer, and I like to wrap it up in that. And what this does is all it really does is keeps it nice, helps hold the shape. All right, bring it over there, and then just hit it with a little piece of tape. And then this helps keep that really nice round shape. And then what you're going to do is place this in the refrigerator for a couple hours or overnight until it's nice and firm. And then the next step is we're going to be able to slice it. Now that the dough has chilled and firmed up in the refrigerator, we can take it out and unwrap it. And then I like to cut it using a chef's knife. And I also like to take a pitcher and fill it up with hot water, hot tap water, so that I can just easily, and I'll put it back in the camera here, just easily dip the knife into the pitcher. Don't leave the knife in there. All right, just kind of dip it, and then I take a towel, as you see on the side, and I just gently wipe off the water. And we're looking for nice 1/8 of an inch slices, okay? The trick to these cookies is making them thin, and that's why we do it this way rather than rolling them out. So you just kind of hold your dough and just go down in nice even strokes here and cut really nice 1/8 inch cookies. All right, nice and thin 1/8 inch. You can go up to 1/4, but the 1/8 inch just makes them really nice. And then you can just take them and lay them on your cookie sheet. You want to give them about 1 inch so they bake nice and evenly. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and get ready for the next step, where we're going to be able to put on our cinnamon sugar. So now that we have the cookies cut and on the tray, the next step is to finish them. We're going to make an egg wash. I have here 2 whites of the egg separated, and then 2 tablespoons of cold water. And I'm just going to take a fork, just kind of mix it together. And that's a common ratio I use in a lot of the recipes. It's a tablespoon of water to 1 egg white. And that's going to be our egg wash. And then we're going to create a cinnamon sugar sanding sugar. So I have a 1/4 cup of granulated white sugar, and then I have 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'm just going to go ahead and mix those together. And that's going to make our cinnamon sugar mixture that's going to go on top of the cookie. So we just mix that up. And then you're going to take your pastry brush, dip it into the egg white mixture, and just go ahead and brush the tops really nice, get the whole cookie, because it's going to do 2 things. It's going to give it a little shine, and it's also going to help the cinnamon sugar stick. So go ahead and you want to brush all of those. And then once you brush them, then you want to go ahead and put on the sanding sugar. So just take your sanding sugar and just kind of sprinkle it on. You know, just nice. You don't want to go crazy with it. Just want a nice little even coating that's going to give it that cinnamon sugar flavor. And then these are going to go in the oven. So once you get them all done, you're going to put them in a 375-degree oven, and you're going to bake them for about 10 to 12, maybe even 14 minutes, depends on your oven. And you want to bake them until the edges turn a nice golden color, and then you know that they're going to be nice and crispy. Because remember, this is going to turn into a really nice crispy cookie. All right, so let's check out the oven. Oh, they're looking beauteous. So as you can see, as I take these out, this is what you're looking for. They don't really spread. You just space them so that the heat gets to them evenly. And what you're looking for is that nice brown edge on the outside. If you get that golden brown edge on the outside, then you know you're good to go. So let's take a look at plating these. So here you can see the finished cookie in front of me. And what's really nice about the sand tart is that it's just a really nice crispy cookie. Just look how nice it breaks. It has a really nice crispiness to it. Because of the egg wash and the cinnamon and the sugar on top, it just gives you a wonderful flavor. And it's just a really nice different kind of cookie. And it teaches a different kind of forming method versus rolling out. This allows you to form them into a log, shape them in the fridge, all right, known as an icebox cookie, and then slice it into real thin slices using your knife. So I'd like to thank you for baking with me today, and I can't wait to bake with you real soon right here in Mr. Polk's kitchen.